Davis, welcome to the latest episode of Cut to the Chase. And you've been saying recently that you've been to a few listing presentations, right? You know, back on the tools, supporting some agents, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So you would have seen a successful listing presentation, and I'm sure you've seen a failing listing presentation. And we're positive. We're not here to talk about failures, right? But it's very easy to fail a listing presentation.
Oh, yes.
It's easier to fail it than to win it.
Win it. Oh,
what have you been seeing in your rounds around Auckland?
Well, what I'm saying is it's a lot easier when you go on as two. So when you go on as one, you're always concentrating on what am I saying, and you're not reading those little signals, those little micro body language that a third party can go, oh, missing the spot. Like, I love your line, you know, when they say we want to have a think about it. I'm sorry, Dee, but I've been sharing it with everybody.
It's fine.
Oh, you want to have a think about it? No problem. I'll go sit in the car, I'll do a few texts, I'll do a few emails. When you're ready to make a decision, open the front door, we'll come back in. I've tried that last week in South Auckland.
It worked?
And it worked as well.
Because you pull in that line when you know that it's going to work.
Yes.
You don't pull that line with everyone, because some people will say, no, we want to think about it.
Yeah,
and it's fine. But you can see sometimes there is that, you know, you're on the edge, right? You're convinced, but you need 5 minutes with your wife, which I suppose, pray to God, whatever it is, right? 5 minutes to make the decision.
I love that line, pray to God, or Hala, or whoever you idolize, right? We trust them and everyone else pays cash. Yeah. In today's market, right?
Well, yeah. A lot of time listing presentation is what you didn't say though as well. Like we talked about last week on, you know, you got to ask the questions, right? But sometimes you ask the questions, but you don't listen. Yep. And I've done mistakes, of course. I'm not perfect.
Well, you're busy.
You know, and sometimes you just miss the signals, right? So going with two people is powerful, but a lot of people are doing it by themselves. So what tips would you have to an agent that is going to listen presentation, has got a couple of skills, knows what it's saying, but it wants to get better? Because here is Cut to the Chase, it's all about being better.
Yes. Well, mine is every 3 or 4 minutes, remind yourself and say, who's doing most of the talking here? If you're doing most of the talking, then it's risky. And after 2 or 3 minutes, pause and say, does this make sense to you? Do you need further clarification? Is it making sense to you, Diego? And we all learnt that mirroring, just like we're doing now. We're nodding at each other, those mirror techniques, which are really, really important. So pause, breathe, ask for clarification, and then go again.
How does that marketing compare to the other agents? That's a question I really like to ask, because it shows that, you know, obviously you want to get their opinion, but as well it will give you an understanding if they've spoken to another agent and if there is any challenges around, you know, values and prices.
Values and all those,
So I think it's about asking the right question without speaking 5 minutes, because scripts and dialogues are not there just so that you sound like a machine, like a robot. They're there to say that one thing that might take you 3 minutes to explain in one sentence. I'll tell you what, you know, it's why I listen to podcasts, and I still do 10 years into it, because there is always something new to learn. But it's how can you ask a question with 3 words, right? With a sentence. That's the key.
And also for me, value. My favorite line is, and we've spoken about it before, let's talk about trade. And Diego, the competition discussed that, didn't they?
They probably don't even realize what trades means, but their point.
No, but and the client goes, no, they didn't. Let's talk about this. But the competition, what did they say about that? Oh, they didn't discuss that. Oh, that's interesting. If I am in a listing presentation and I get to say 4 or 5 times that's interesting, then we're showing value to the proposition that's different than what anyone else is doing.
Correct.
But if we're saying the same stuff, then all we're doing is we're competing on commission, and we're competing on what's the free stuff, or what advertising or promotion are we paying for.
And it's very easy to go on the bandwagon of number one, more sold, this and that, and we all have, we all have a number one for something, right? But that, I like to ask a question these days when I walk in, is like, would you like to hear all of my successes, or I can show you the strategy to get us the best price? Because I'm sure you heard every agent saying they're number one, and normally they laugh because my marketing says I'm not, because I'm probably more number one than most agents out there, right? But the point of that is that I take the bull by the horn, take a little bit of a joke, because I know they've heard it all before, right?
Good.
And it's important. And we talked about trust over the last few podcasts, and I think we're going to keep talking about more and more in that. And here is the thing, right? You know, your listing presentation, you haven't got the trust because you're pitching for your life. You're pitching for the biggest job in the world.
Well,
right?
We eat what we kill. It seems extreme, but you win it's a zero-sum game.
Correct.
And I like it, Dee, when you go in, and we've learned that from Tom Panos months ago, when it was like, you got to get them laughing and smiling. So self-deprecating humor, which is exactly what you've done. you're stating the obvious in a funny way. Do you want to hear about all my successes when they know that you've had success? So you're poking fun at yourself, right? Which says that I'm human.
It comes down to that. Hey, thanks for watching Cut to the Chase. We'll see you next week.